What's going on, guys? It's AG here. So today we're going to be taking a look at my Big 12 power rankings in a tier list form. So essentially, the categories you see here, favorites. So I'm going to put my top two favorites right now to make the Big 12 championship in that category. We've got contenders. So that means anybody that I think has a legitimate chance at making the Big 12 championship. So you're telling me there's a chance. Lloyd Christmas said it best. That's going to be teams that have an outsider's chance. So a pretty slim margin, but I think might be talented enough to somehow sneak in to the Big 12 championship with a good year, and then better luck next year. That just means better luck next year. Really no beating around the bush on that one. You're probably not going to be very good this year. Maybe next year. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this list. And while we're doing this, go ahead and join me down in the comment section. Let me know your rankings, either 1 through 16 or in these categories. Up to you. So let's go ahead and start with BYU. BYU, not a lot going for them this year. Going into this year, they don't look like they're going to be very good in the Big 12. I think they could have talent in the Big 12. You know, they've had really good years before entering this conference, but I just don't see it happening this year. So they're going to go, unfortunately for them, in better luck next year. And then next up, we're going to go with Arizona. Sorry, I'm going to tag by a bug here. Arizona. All right, so Arizona entering the Big 12, kind of some question marks for me. They are definitely talented enough to win this conference, no doubt. Noah Fifita, McMillan, probably two of the best players in really all of the Big 12. But Jeb Fish leaving kind of creates some question marks here. You've got Brent Brennan coming in from San Jose State. How's he going to do at Arizona? I don't know. I need to see a little more. Right now I'm going to throw them in contenders, but they could easily be among the favorites if this coaching hire hits, but I'm going to need to see a little couple games before I completely make that decision. All right, so next up, let's go with Arizona State. All right, coming over to the Big 12, Willingham, first year as a head coach there, kind of did okay. Not bad. Not really too high of expectations at Arizona State, especially with Arizona being as good as they were last year. It's going to kind of diminish what you can kind of pull in as a recruiting-wise. I'm going to put them in better luck next year. I think they're probably going to struggle this year, probably be one of the doormat teams of the Big 12, and I really just don't see it happening this year. All right, so next up we've got Cincinnati. I know you can't really see them here. They're black, kind of blend in with the background, but they're going to go in better luck next year as well. Without Luke Fickel there, unfortunately, Cincinnati just doesn't really have much promise right now. With Luke Fickel, obviously, they were excelling, made the college football playoff as a group of 5 team, but I think they're going to continue to struggle here. They might have been better off, obviously not revenue-wise, but competition-wise, not being in the Big 12 unless they had Luke Fickel. They had to make that jump when Luke Fickel was there to have success. Without him, it's going to be a while until they have some success in the Big 12, I think. All right, so next up, let's go with TCU. TCU, I'm going to stick in, so you're telling me there's a chance. I think they're obviously closer to better luck next year then, so you're telling me there's a chance, but there is a chance that somehow they get that magic they had a couple years ago when they made that run to the national championship. I doubt that happens. That was a lot of Max Duggan, I think, more than Sonny Dykes, but it could happen. You know what I mean? But obviously, I'd be more likely to move them down than up to actual contender status. They don't really have a lot of hope going for them right now. They had some transfers out and not the best transfers in, so I'm a little questionable. Like I said, I would more likely move them down than move them up. All right, next up we've got Colorado. All right, as much as I would like to put them in better luck next year due to Deion being what he is on Twitter, I put them in, so you're telling me there's a chance. Now, again, similar with TCU, I think they're more likely to move down better luck next year than they are contenders. They're nowhere near contenders. We saw how they were last year, but they did beat TCU. All right, so that means they can play with these Big 12 teams probably. You've got NFL-level talent with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. If they can shore up that O-line a little bit, I know they kind of rebuild through the transfer portal every year it seems, but if they can kind of reload on the front 7 on defense and in offense as far as the front line is concerned, they might be able to compete with some of these Big 12 teams. I don't think it'll happen, but again, those two alone, Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, are talented enough to beat a lot of teams in the Big 12. All right, next up we're going to go with Houston. They're going to go right into better luck next year. Willie Fritz, I like him as a head coach coming over from Tulane, but kind of got dealt a bad hand here, and it's going to take a little bit of building time. Now, I think he can get Houston on track for sure. Definitely can build a winner there. He's won everywhere he's went, Willie Fritz. Again, previously coming from Tulane, if you didn't know that. But I don't see it happening year one in Houston. In particular, similar with the Cincinnati situation, as far as moving to the Big 12, you almost missed your window of capitalizing on you being really good. Like if they could have moved to the Big 12 when Tom Herman was head coach at Houston, they would have had a little success. But you waited too long, and now you don't. Our contender is going to be Kansas. Okay, Kansas is going to be in the contender status, close to being favorites. As much as I want to move them here, both of these teams really could easily move up, but Kansas's problem is their quarterback. All right, Daniels is awesome. All right, he's a Heisman candidate when healthy, but when healthy is the key here. He gets hurt a lot, and I think that's going to impact him here. Last year, they kind of had Jason Bean as a fallback option when he got hurt, when Daniels. But I don't know if that's going to happen this year when he gets hurt. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. If he doesn't get hurt again, they're really good. They've got Nil at running back as well, really talented backfield. And their coach, Leipold, is a proven winner. But again, I'm going to put him in contender status right now. But if he can stay healthy, Daniels, they could easily make the Big 12 championship. Next up, we've got Kansas State. I'm going to put them right in contender status as well. They've got a lot coming back. Now, they lose Will Howard to Ohio State, obviously, but it's Avery Johnson's time to shine at quarterback. They've got some good production coming back. They've got a running back coming in as well that should help them. Their coach, similar to Lance Leipold, Chris Kleiman, is a proven winner. Both of them kind of chose to run it back at these schools rather than leave for other schools like, whether it be Arizona, whether it be Washington. They had offers out there. They decided to run it back. So their coaches are definitely warranted and want to be there. So that's good for you looking forward to the future. That means your coaches are probably not leaving anytime soon, and they want to win where they're at and build contenders. And in the Big 12, I think you can definitely have that. With Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC, it's kind of anybody's for the taking, and definitely both of those teams could capitalize on that. All right, next up we've got Iowa State. I'm going to put them in contender as well. I know the contender status here is really loading up, but Iowa State, I think, has a legitimate chance to win the Big 12 this year. They bring back a ton of pieces. They were really young last year. Matt Campbell is solid. Iowa State used to be the doormat of the Big 12, but with Matt Campbell, they're winning 7-8 wins every year. They're getting those type of games, those type of seasons, winning 7-8 games every year. And this year, Rocco back at quarterback. They bring back their quarterback, their running back, their number one receiver, their tight end. They're loaded up. They're young. They were all freshmen last year. There's no reason they can't go and win the Big 12 championship this year, make the college football playoff, because remember, with playoff expansion going to 12 teams, the winner of the Big 12 championship is in, like for sure. No, it don't matter how you did in the regular season. If you can sneak into the Big 12 championship with 4 or 5 losses total and win, you're in. It's that simple. All right, next up we've got West Virginia. West Virginia, I'm going to put in contenders as well. We're kind of loading up. I know this will be one of the last teams in contenders, if not the last team. West Virginia, Neil Brown, kind of on the hot seat last year, was expected to kind of get fired after another bad year, but they kind of shocked some people last year. Led by Garrett Green at quarterback, that's kind of the main reason they had success. Really good dual threat guy. He can pass it, he can run it. Really entertaining to watch. If you haven't watched his highlights, Garrett Green, go check him out. I've actually got them in my preseason top 25 right now, West Virginia. They've got a tough schedule. They open with Penn State, so you're probably going to lose that one because I think Penn State's going to be pretty good. But if you can keep that tight, start 0-1 with, let's say, a less than 20-point, 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown loss to Penn State, I think you're cooking with something really good here. And Garrett Green at quarterback is back. And like I said, the Big 12 is really anybody's for the taking right now. I think West Virginia, definitely a contender. All right, next up we're going with Utah. They're going to go right into favorites for me, okay? The main reason for that, yes, Kyle Whittingham is a winner. Their coach, he wins ball games. He, similar to some other guys I talked about, turned down job offers supposedly to run it back here. He reportedly had an offer from Texas A&M, chose to stay at Utah. A big reason for that, Cam Rising. Cam Rising is back at quarterback, missed last year. Look at what they did last year. They weren't, God tier. They weren't making top 25 or anything, but they were a top 40 team probably without Cam Rising. You bring back a guy that has won Rose Bowl games, has won the Pac-12 multiple times. You bring him back, he's arguably the most important player in the country this year. Him alone puts Utah in favorite status because he's just such a proven winner. Cam Rising, former Texas quarterback, actually transferred out of Texas. Now, they do lose some pieces to the transfer portal. If they can refill those, reload, whether it's next man up, whether it's through the transfer portal, Cam Rising has this team in favorite status for me. All right, next up we've got Baylor. And unfortunately for Dave Aranda, I think this is his last year at Baylor. I'm going to put them in better luck next year as well. Similar to some of these other teams, this bug is really getting on my freaking nerves. Similar to some other teams, they just don't got enough this year, I don't think. And they lose some key pieces. Dave Aranda, I think, is on the chopping block. He's definitely on the hot seat. Don't be surprised if he gets fired in the middle of this year and they hire G.J. Kinney of Texas State, will be my guess. Next up, we've got Oklahoma State. I'm putting them right in favorites with Utah. Oklahoma State made the Big 12 championship last year. They've got a lot of guys coming back. I know they weren't that good last year. They were kind of hit and miss. They'd lose some games really badly, then they beat some teams that were really good. They kind of got rolled in the Big 12 championship by Texas, but Texas was pretty good last year, as seen. But Oklahoma State, you've got Mike Gundy, a head coach. He's a really good head coach, proven winner. Really gets a lot out of what they have at Oklahoma State. But you've got guys coming back. Ollie Gordon, best running back in the nation, is back. You've got your quarterback, Alan Bowman, back for like a 7th or 8th year in college. He got granted that level of eligibility. You've got some good guys coming back out wide at receiver. They've got enough pieces coming back to win the Big 12. Excuse me, I need a drink here. I'm losing my voice. Ooh. All right, so my bad. Sorry about that, guys. But Oklahoma State should be the favorite right now. I've got them at number 10 in my preseason top 25. All right, next up we've got Texas Tech. Coming off kind of a disappointing year last year. We're supposed to be really good, but kind of disappointed under Joe McGuire in year 2. I'm going to put them in, so you're telling me there's a chance. Now, for them, I think they're definitely closer to a contender status than better luck next year as these other two teams in this category with them. I think Texas Tech could easily go on a run this year and make the Big 12 championship. You've got Taj Brooks back at running back, top 5 running back in the nation. And you see this a lot of times with teams. They'll kind of miss their year where they were supposed to be really good. Then they'll run it back the next year, and then they'll hit that peak. So I think that's something that could happen with Texas Tech this year. Like I said, they were kind of down last year compared to what their expectations were. I thought they were going to win the Big 12 last year, probably preseason-wise, and then really disappointed there. But you'll see that a lot with teams, and then they'll exceed expectations the next year. So I think they could easily go on a run here. All right, last but not least here, we've got UCF. I'm going to put them in, so you're telling me there's a chance. I think they're closer to better luck next year than not, but UCF has enough talent. Their backfield in particular is loaded. All right, they bring back, they just brought in, Penny Boone, transfer from Toledo. Really impressive numbers there, paired with the running back they already have in RJ Harvey. Quarterback, you've got KJ Jefferson coming over from Arkansas, and that backfield's going to be super talented. Gus Malzahn, we've seen what he can do before at Auburn, can really make some things happen. So UCF, I think, could be talented enough to beat a lot of teams, go on a run. If KJ Jefferson in particular hits at quarterback, watch out in the Big 12. All right, so those are my Big 12 tier list power rankings. Let me know yours. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video, and most importantly, subscribe.